Welcome to this video about Developmental Language Disorder, DLD. What is Developmental Language Disorder? DLD is a lifelong condition which can first be diagnosed in childhood. It affects how people understand and express language. There is no known single cause, although evidence suggests that biological, genetic, and environmental risk factors play a part. Left unidentified and unsupported, DLD can reduce access to education and employment as people get older. Speech and language therapists play a crucial role to play in the diagnosis of DLD and in supporting people with DLD, along with their families and the professionals working with them, to understand their diagnosis, achieve their potential, and reduce the impact of their difficulties. Types of difficulties. Pupils with DLD can have difficulties with listening, attention, memory, and language processing, particularly when a lot of information is being given orally. Following instructions, understanding questions and narratives. Understanding and using vocabulary. Expressing what they want to say, including difficulties with word finding, grammar, and sequencing their thoughts. Social interaction, including having difficulties joining in conversations, understanding jokes, and non-literal language. And using language to express their thoughts and feelings and to regulate their behaviour and their interactions with other people. Pupils with DLD are also at risk of difficulties with reading and writing, and with discriminating between different sounds either on their own or within words. For example, knowing that cat and bat are different words because the first sound is different. This is known as phonological awareness. Individuals with DLD may have difficulties with producing speech sounds, although not always. DLD can also impact on pupils' social relationships and their general well-being. General strategies. Get the pupil's attention, say the pupil's name, and ensure they are looking before asking questions or giving instructions so they know when to listen. Talk calmly and slowly to support their ability to process words. Give the pupil thinking time. Stay quiet and give the pupil time to respond to help them process information. Use simple language and repeat if necessary. Chunk instructions by giving one piece of information at a time, and use short sentences and emphasize key words. Encourage the pupil to ask for help. Establish a system for the pupil to be able to ask and offer strategies, such as using a dictionary. Check the pupil has understood instructions or new information. After giving an instruction, instead of asking, "Do you understand?" ask, "What do you need to do now?" Model correct language, correct grammar, and expand sentences by modeling or adding on words to what he or she has said and repeating it back. And use symbols and pictures where possible. Add pictures, symbol, or actions to represent new words or concepts to support their understanding visually. Set out instructions using task plans and summarize stories on narrative grids. Strategies for reading and written language. Written language tasks can be made more accessible by breaking paragraphs down, using bullet points and adding extra white space to be clearer. Using visually distinct sections, organize a page into separate themes, activities, or steps to help pupils manage the task in smaller steps. Using visuals such as icons, pictures, and graphics. This can give helpful cues about what the page is about. Providing keyword definitions. And including questions and text on the same page. Memory difficulties may mean going back and forth between questions and text. Strategies to support learning and memory. You can support the pupil's memory and learning by making sure the pupil is looking and listening before talking. Talking slowly. Pausing between key points and ideas. Giving processing time. Repeat key points and summarizing at the end. Using simple language. This includes simple vocabulary, for example, show instead of demonstrate, and short sentences with simple grammar. Giving instructions in the order you want them to happen. Chunking instructions, giving them one at a time. Avoiding unnecessary words, and helping the pupil to describe the word. for example, asking questions from a word map. Strategies to support social language. Social language can be developed by modelling using facial expressions and body language. Explicitly explaining your emotions and what has led to you feeling that way. This can be in relation to other people's reactions as well. For example, I was upset when you used that word. Explaining idioms, sarcasm, and non-literal questions. For example, when I say, would you like to, I'm being polite. What I mean is, please do it. Supporting opportunities to build relationships with peers with similar interests, for example, clubs and activities. Giving the pupil opportunities to participate in many different situations about different topics. And explicitly explaining when we adjust our communication style, for example, talking politely with respect to adults, not swearing, and talking quietly in libraries and places of worship. Strategies to support sentences. You can support the pupil's ability to form sentences by modelling simple and well-structured sentences. Recasting by modelling correct grammar back. Linking ideas together using conjunctions. This may be recasting two phrases that the pupil has said. Expanding on what the pupil has said by adding one idea. For example, if the pupil says, I'm jumping, the response could be, yes, you're jumping on the trampoline, or you're jumping high. Commenting on the language used. For example, if there are two dogs, we add a special s sound to show there was more than one dog. And using visuals to support sentence structure. For example, a sign or gesture to indicate tenses, and colour-shaped coding. Strategies to support words. Strategies to help pupils learn, retain, and use words include giving processing time, using familiar vocabulary, highlighting new or less familiar words, checking that new or less familiar words have been understood, encouraging pupils to ask when they don't understand a word, using context to work out the meaning of a word and using new words in different contexts, identifying unfamiliar words and looking them up in a dictionary, explicitly teaching vocabulary such as explain, summarize, and discuss, providing a glossary before the start of each new unit of work, pre-teaching topic vocabulary, introducing new words in a multisensory way, for example by using visuals, demonstrating and exploring through touch, repeating new words several times, reviewing new words regularly, for example, what is the word that means, getting the pupil to say and write the word multiple times, and recording new words in a vocabulary book or a word wall display. Strategies to support speech sounds. Pupils can be supported with their speech sounds by making sure all background noise is kept to a minimum. Speaking slowly. Making sure the pupil is looking at you when you are talking and they can see your mouth. Reading rhyming books and, for younger children, nursery rhymes. Modelling words back correctly, for example, my didda is 3, oh, your sister is 3. Not making the pupil repeat words or sounds that are hard to say. Responding to what they have said, not how they have said it. And encouraging the pupil to show you in whatever way possible, for example through actions, pointing and signs, to help you understand what they are trying to say. This is the end of this video. You can view more videos on this channel in the About series, including other About SLCN videos.